You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Don Chapman, editor of MidWeek Honolulu. Don authored My Kind of Town, a serialized fiction which appeared in the Honolulu Star Bulletin, and is also a freelance writer for several Hawaii-based and mainland publications. In 2005, Don Chapman won first place in the Society of Professional Journalists Hawaii Chapter Excellence in Journalism Award.
For the lay people out there, can you tell us what an editor of a publication actually does?
People even on my own staff might say, well, what the heck does that guy really do? I'm sort of the content guy. In terms of story ideas, everything kind of flows through me, and we get story ideas, and the best ones often come from our readers who say, hey, had you ever thought about, or did you know about? And the answer is, no, we didn't know about that, because we're busy in our office doing our thing, and so we love when stories come from outside. We also get story ideas from a lot of other places, from the professional people in PR and advertising and so forth. But that kind of stuff flows through me. And then I think one of my biggest jobs is to, one, mix the stories so we have a nice mix of stories every week. You know, it's not all business, it's not all government, it's not all sports or military or entertainment. We have a nice mix. And then trying to match the right story with the right writer. I think that's one of the things that I work the hardest at. Is there are certain writers that are better for certain stories than others, and so I try and do that.
Why is that? Is it because some of them are more interested in one subject than the other, or they're just better writers, or
maybe it's different backgrounds, different sensitivities? I mean, there are certain people that I go to, say, for a sports story. That's probably the easier one. Certain people, say, for an entertainment and music story. Others for politics, and then beyond that, it's sort of a personality thing, and just trying to match that up.
How do you know which story is going to be good? So you get 100 stories coming to you, and then you must take it through some type of measuring system in your brain of some sort, like some kind of a mental checklist of some sort. What are you looking for in these stories?
Not to sound vain or arrogant or egotistical, but I subscribe to the old David Brinkley, if you remember him. He was a famous newscaster on NBC back in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but he was like the face of NBC nightly news for a long time. And he said, the news is what I say is the news. And that's not to be arrogant or egotistical, but it's based on a certain amount of experience and years in the business, and trying to keep a pulse on the community and what people like. You just get this gut sense that this is a good story. Sometimes it's a no-brainer. Sometimes you got to take a chance. I'll give you an example of one that we took a flying chance on. A guy works in our accounting department. Okay, and he's this quiet, very shy guy, Stan. On weekends, he's a rock and roll drummer. It's this totally other persona, right? And so we did a story on him and kind of paired the accountant in his little cubicle with his touchpad, and then the guy on weekends who's just kicking it, playing drums. That was totally different from anything that we'd ever done. And we heard from people that they loved it, because it's like, wow, you can be a serious professional with a serious job, but you can still have this other thing that's cool.
That's just like that Double Lives book that we were talking about on another show, right? That, to be able to fulfill your passion out of your profession. That's so awesome.
Yeah. And I think all of us, whether we're playing drums professionally or not, as our sideline, but you need some other thing that you care about, that you love doing. I mean, I play golf. I play conga drums. I'm very bad, but I love it. So it's this, you need something that's really different from what you do to make your money to sort of round out your life, I think.
Do you think the success comes from the balance that you've been able to do with MidWeek in regards to hearing the community and really hearing about what they want, as well as also kind of setting the trend or the standard of what's important and what's now?
Part of MidWeek's success, and this started prior to the time that I started there. I think they'd been going on for almost 10 years by the time I became editor, and it was to have as many common denominators as possible. Bring out that old term from math, fractions, yeah. But to hit as many different things as possible. So it could be that a person only reads one column or one feature in midweek. That's okay. We invite them in. And again, because we are a free publication, everything's paid by advertisers. So we want people coming into the magazine, finding a reason to come inside, and then hopefully they'll look at some of the ads and so forth. But to have as many different ways to touch people as possible. And we do, and so having said that, if a person only reads one story, that's fine. Still, we hear from people who read it cover to cover.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.